Welcome back again, students. We are now checking out, getting some of the finer detail in here. So hopefully we've got a nice roughed out shape here that's got some nice smooth edges. We don't have anything too rough going on. Hopefully we've been able to kind of make some adjustments to all sides of the head. So the bottom has some nice details. It's not just like a piece of a sphere here. So really kind of inspect the whole thing before we move on. And if you have something like this, you might want to come back here and give it a little more detail, whatever it is. So there's some videos that are on how to give it kind of hair looking, and you can kind of give it some texture and stuff. So check those out. But let's jump in here and let's start thinking about giving it some real detail here. So I'm going to work on the eyes and the lips here right now. And so all those tools we've used so far, move and drag and inflate and brush, we can always switch back to those and keep using those. But ones that are going to be really useful right now that we probably haven't talked about or used yet, I mean, ones like crease. Crease is like a really nice tool. And that's going to give you a nice sharp edge. You kind of go over things. It's going to kind of give it an outline. So it's going to give you kind of a crease or a sharp inward edge there, where you're kind of wanting something to be kind of like a seam. But you can see very quickly there, it also can cause some other problems and kind of pixelate things or make some sharp points that we've talked about before that we don't really want. So I'm going to come back and play with that a little later and smooth some things out. So get in there and play around with some things. If it's not getting the shape you want, obviously you can always do that undo tool. We can also change the size of this tool as always. We can change the radius as you see over there on the right side. But usually keeping it pretty small is kind of a good option there. And we got some nostrils there, so let's get those nice and detailed out. And we'll give it a little line there for the lip, maybe. It's really up to you what you're looking for here in your design. If you're not liking it, you can always flip back and say, I think that the lips are a little bit inwards here, huh? We need to bring those out a little bit. So come back here and we'll fill those in a little bit more first. Right? Always flip back and do it, use those tools that you've learned so far. But now we're starting to think about those details. So I'm going to go over this a little bit. And it's rough right now, and that's perfectly all right, because I can always smooth this out in just a moment here. And a lot of times as you start to get some details in here, you'll start to see that things aren't really the way that you were hoping for them to be here. So I'm going to switch over to smooth here and smooth that out. That's looking pretty good. All right. Then I can come back to crease again. And oh, that's looking much better, isn't it? That's looking like a real mouth now. Look at that. I'm going to make him look kind of happy. Nice, happy person. Whatever you like there. And, if you want to smooth that out, it's a little bit pixelated there. I'm going to go over to smooth, and I'm going to turn down the intensity on this one. So it's been smoothing things a lot. Now, I'll just smooth it a little bit less. And we can make that brush a little smaller, too. And look at that. It's going to get rid of some of that stuff, but I'm going to keep the detail that I was looking for there. And, if it makes it go away, we can always go back and put it in again. All right, nothing wrong with trying things again. I'm going to make that tool a little smaller again. Nice sharp crease through there. And don't worry about the super fine detail, because some of this stuff will be so small, you're zooming in so far, it won't really show up when you're actually 3D printing this. You come in here and smooth some other things out. Smoothing, again, is our favorite tool, and really have some fun here. So if you want to kind of make this look like an old man, or old person, old woman, you can kind of give it some wrinkle lines. I want to turn up the intensity on this a little bit, maybe this a little bit too. And give it some texture so it looks a little bit more like a real person, right? Real people are not perfect. And that kind of what makes them look interesting, right? And you can come over here and like give it some other lines, you know. Feel free to look at some images online of sculptures of, of people and other things, whatever, if you're doing whatever creature you're doing, or you look up on there. And, I'm just playing around using this crease tool, getting some detail in there. Every once in a while, I might come in here and smooth some things out if I don't like it. I switch into smooth there. And I'm just playing around. There's no right or wrong way here. Right now, I'm thinking that nose is hanging too down over the lips. I want to kind of move that whole nose up. So I'm going to try this out. I don't know if it's going to work. I went over to move and just grabbed the whole nose. Look at that. That's going to allow me to kind of pull some things around. That's looking pretty good. And impressed. Oh. And maybe I want to come down here to give it some lines on the face and other areas. That's pretty cool. And maybe you want to come over here to the back side and give them some lines underneath the head, and I don't know, whatever else you want here. Everybody has some hair and stuff on the back side. Again, you can watch that other video on how to do hair and stuff. There's some curly hair, but if you wanted to try and do some texturing here, it's all up to you. I'm going to make my tool a little smaller. Let's try this out and see if we can give it some texture that kind of looks like something here. And if it's going inwards, just try and change the angle that you're working from. A lot of times things will look different if you change the angle, and the tool will work a little bit different for you. Anyway, play around, have some fun there. Be careful not to get too carried away and make rough spots. Always come back here and smooth stuff out. That's the name of the game, is smooth. Keep it smooth. All right. The last thing, this is the last thing I'm going to show you here, is if you are looking for, so far we've been doing everything in a symmetrical way here. So it's been symmetrical. So if you are looking to do an eye patch or a scar on the face, or I don't know what else you want to put, a bow in the person's hair or whatever, we can turn off symmetrical. And now if I go and do some things here, it's only going to do it on that one side. So if I want to do an eye patch, for example, I'm going to do an eye patch because it's, I don't know, it's kind of an easy idea to just put an eye patch on somebody. You can do that pretty easily there. I would not do things that are unsymmetrical or asymmetrical until the very end. This should be the last thing you do, because now if you switch back to symmetrical things and you say, okay, I want to turn back on symmetrical stuff, and now I want to adjust things and say I want to do something here, you'll see that it's changing things differently on the two sides because they're not the same anymore. So hopefully that gave you some cool ideas. Get in there, take your time on the detail. Remember, smoothing things out is like your number one friend there. That's going to be super, super important. And enjoy. Take your time. See you soon. Bye.